Hey guys, so after 1 year and a couple months of trying to build my ESP32 submarine, I finally finished it. I'm happy that I finally finished it. It's been a long time and I want to work on something else. But in this video, this is the last video I'm going to be doing on my ESP32 submarine for a while. And in this video, I'm going to be showing the coming days until I tested the submarine until the past couple weeks, and also the after results and testing in the past couple months and things like that. So in the month of May, I had AP exams and final exams, so I didn't really lock in for my submarine. But after all my exams were done, I started troubleshooting and I expanded the wires because I realized that the wires from the back canal wouldn't reach the middle canal where the receiver and the batteries were, so that had been an issue. And I also 3D printed out these discs that I could put on the different parts of the submarine so I could seal it up and no water would get through and get into the middle canal, because in the middle canal is where all the electronics were that were non-waterproof. So if those got wet, the whole thing would just like not work. So I finally got the brushless motor working and I put it in its housing and attached the propeller to it. After that, I killed the servos and tested both the brushless motors and the servos underwater. Once that was done, I went to Home Depot in AutoZone to pick up some components that I needed. I got a rocker switch from AutoZone. I was looking around between Home Depot and AutoZone for these pieces. Now I'm about to go to Staples to grab SD card because I want to still see if I can integrate the ESP32 cam into it. I want to see if I can do that. I ended up not buying the SD card because I decided to scratch the idea of integrating the ESP32 cam. And I also bought some rubber sheets. Changed the way I was going to put the rocker switch on the submarine. So my original thought was put it on the outside and surround it with like a silicone or rubber like sheet around it so that no water gets through. And I only found that rubber sheet that I showed you earlier. It was red and I didn't want it to be red. I wanted it to be transparent, but there was no transparent rubber sheets or silicone sheets I could find. So instead I switched to using like a plastic bag. I cut some of the plastic bag and I put it on top of the rocker switch, and then I put a thicker layer of plastic around it so that if the original plastic layer breaks from pressing it too much. One reason why it took me so long is that every single time I got one thing to work, another thing would stop working. So for an example, I got the brushless motors to start working, I got the battery system working, and the servos and the ballast system. And then once that started working, the rocker switch just broke. Like I broke it by accident, so I had to go get a new one. So August was my lock-in month. I had school in less than a month, and I wanted to get this done before school started. So when school started, I could start a new project and focus on other things. So I troubleshooted it a little bit more. I fixed the final bugs with the servos and the brushless motors. I also designed a new gear that wouldn't fall off the brushless motor, and the gear worked pretty well, so I was pretty happy with that. And I also have the ballast system. That's the water pumps working, as you guys hear. And then I have mode 1 back to mode 1. That's the engine working. And then that's the top fin working, and it also goes to its neutral state. Alright y'all, there was a slight issue. I was using very low gauge wire, and that's why I was smoking. I almost started a fire. After work, I got some higher gauge wire. It's working nice. And okay, so in that last video, you could see the propeller and the axle stabilized, so it wouldn't be wobbly because there's the top part connected to it, so it's like held in place. And then now I'm gonna show you guys when I put everything together for the first time to see what I'd get a general idea of what it looked like. And I also ran the propeller to see how fast it would be, and it went pretty quick. That's powerful as hell. Alright y'all, so I just came from AutoZone and Home Depot again. So we got some new stuff. So we got the silicone adhesive thing. I bought this so that I could put this in the screw hole and screw the screws in. I also ended up using the rest of the silicone glue to put it around the seals of the submarine. At first I was gonna use butylol, and butylol is what they use for like shingles and like roofing. And like things like that. You use it to waterproof stuff. I thought I was gonna use that, but then I realized that probably wasn't gonna be a good idea because it wouldn't stick to the PLA. So instead I just used the silicone glue, and I personally think after testing everything, it worked really well because there was barely any water inside the submarine, and the only parts that had water inside the submarine was actually the part where the propeller was sticking out, and it was barely any water. So I think it worked perfectly. So the day came where I had to put the submarine in the water. Before I put it in the water, I wanted to test out to see if all the systems were working beforehand. And while I was testing, I realized some things were off. The propeller was broken, so I had to re-3D print the propeller. And also the axle got stuck and the gear was slipping that was attached to the axle. So I had to refix all those and seal the whole submarine back up with silicone glue. So that took a while. Alright guys, so I just measured how much the submarine weighed on the scale. Turns out it's about around 7 pounds. 6, 7! Alright guys, right before we to put the submarine in the water, something happened. One thing that happened, the propeller snapped. Don't even know how. It's not even spinning anymore, so now I have to reopen it up and see what's going on. So yeah. Alright guys, I just got home. It's currently 11:15. The silicone has dried after I refixed it. I re-3D printed the propeller because it was a little messed up. And yeah, now we're gonna test it out in the water. Alright guys, so we're gonna test out the submarine now. Hopefully it works. I have two things that I'm kind of afraid of. The ballast system. The way I designed the water pump, I'm not sure if it can reverse, but if it can't, it's fine because we have the diving up and down mechanism. And the second thing I'm scared of, everything is sealed up except for the area where the propeller comes out. I put a O-ring back there and it's pretty tight, so I don't think water will get into there, but just in case if it does, thankfully the only thing in this back cavity is the brushless motor and the servos, and as you guys know, I already waterproof the servos, so yeah, that's a good thing, it floats. At this moment, I realized that the submarine wasn't gonna work because it was lopsided. It's a little lopsided. Uh-oh, okay. Alright guys, so the propeller is working. Hold on, let me spin this out of the way. So as you guys can tell, the submarine didn't work as well as I wanted to, but that's fine because between the time where I started this and the time I ended it, I learned a bunch of things. Like I learned how to code a ESP32, I learned how to use a brushless motor, I learned how to make a receiver and a controller. So the experience was good. But some things that I messed up was also, like I mentioned earlier, was the gear attached to the propeller kept slipping and I should have fixed it, but I didn't end up fixing it. So that caused an issue. I also need to work on making sure that the weight was distributed well, because as you guys can see in the video, it's lopsided on the left side, and that caused an issue. That's why the submarine kept just spinning around. And another thing was the ballast system. The ballast system, I could have designed a better water pump, but I didn't design it well, so it worked, but it didn't work as good as I wanted it to. So it's alright. But next time I want to do something like this, now I know what I gotta work on. Between now and the next couple months, I'm gonna be working on the submarine here and there to get it working well. But between then, I'm gonna be working on a new project. I actually put a poll on my Instagram, and I decided that I wanted to make an AI Iron Man helmet. So it's gonna have an AI in it, and it's gonna open up and down. It's gonna have a augmented reality display in front of my eyes that I could see, and that's gonna be the next project. So yeah.